There was a time when many of us considered Rockstar Games to be one of the best development studios in the world because they made some awesome games in the past. The GTA franchise, Bully, Manhunt, Warriors, along with Red Dead Redemption, Red Dead Redemption 2, just to name a few games that have been made by Rockstar over the years. But very recently, a growing number of us Rockstar fans have become concerned when it comes to the future of Rockstar Games. And a few days ago, I left a poll on my community tab asking that very question. The future of Rockstar Games will be 50% of you said bad, 24% said mediocre, 13% said okay, 7% of you said awesome, and 6% of you said good. By the way, thank you so much to everybody that took the time to vote in that poll. Along with everybody that left comments, I did read over your comments, and I agree with a lot of the points everybody made. And it is interesting to find out what's on everyone else's mind when it comes to their thoughts regarding Rockstar Games and how they feel about the future. But if we go by that poll, if we look at the bottom two options, mediocre and then bad, then that added up is equal to 74% of the vote was in the worser category. Whereas if you add up awesome and good, that's only 13%. So you could break it down to that and only have 13% in the middle at okay. But even if you move over the okay to the awesome and good category, then that's only like 26% to 74%, which is still not exactly a good sign when it comes to the views and opinions of the community when it comes to the future of Rockstar Games. So I have several points I'm going to bring up in no particular order. First off, let's talk about the fact that one of the more popular games is 8 years old now, GTA 5, and specifically GTA Online, which they have been supporting since 2013. And to their credit, they've continued to add content to GTA Online from the Xbox 360, PlayStation era, all the way up to PS4, Xbox One, PC, and now currently moving over to PS5 as well as Xbox Series. And this is an accomplishment because a lot of online games don't last this long and remain this popular. One of the big reasons why Rockstar and Take-Two continue to make updates for GTA Online is because of shark card sales, even though there's a lot of legitimate ways to make money in GTA Online now. For example, Cayo Perico Heist, the Casino Heist, etc. They're still making a lot of money off of shark card sales, as well as selling copies digitally and physically of GTA 5 in order for players to play GTA Online, even though that is going to become standalone with the PS5 and Xbox Series versions, which is still scheduled to come out March 2022, the Enhanced Expanded Edition, or is it Expanded Enhanced Edition? I like to call it the Milked Edition. So this version is going to be another upgraded version, allegedly, of GTA 5 and GTA Online, even though the previous trailer didn't exactly impress that many people. In fact, the majority of the community were not exactly amused at all. But over the past few months, it's quite possible that the Enhanced Expanded Edition may look considerably better by the time it comes out on March 2022, or later if it happens to be delayed again. So another prime example of Rockstar focusing on one game over nearly a decade now, when in the past they've put out a lot more games. In the 2000s, they put out a whole bunch of GTAs, 3, Vice City, San Andreas, Liberty City Stories, Vice City Stories, Chinatown Wars. They also put out Manhunts. The point is, they put out a lot more games back in the 2000s than they've put out in the 2010s. Technically, Rockstar's only put out 4 games in the 2010s, which is a lot less than what they did in the 2000s. They put Red Dead Redemption out in 2010, I guess we can count that. Max Payne 3 in 2012, as well as GTA 5 in 2013, and then, of course, Red Dead Redemption 2 back in 2018. So a lot of time has gone by over the past decade, and you can obviously see that Rockstar has decreased the amount of titles that they've worked on and put out for public consumption over the years, and that is predominantly because of the success of GTA Online. It's quite popular. It has made Rockstar and Take-Two a ton of money, but I feel like it has hurt Rockstar as a company because it has prevented them from being able to focus on other IPs. A sequel to Bully or LA Noire or perhaps even GTA 6 are completely new IP. Another factor that concerns us regarding the future of Rockstar Games is their approach towards remasters. We have the GTA Trilogy Definitive Edition, which came out November 11th, 2021, which was supposed to be the original release date for GTA 5 and Online Enhanced Expanded Edition until it got delayed to March 2022. So obviously Take-Two and Rockstar needed to put something in that November 11th spot back in 2021 for the holiday season. And I feel like that they rushed GTA Trilogy Definitive Edition out the door too soon. And unfortunately, its launch did not go so well, even though Strauss Zelnick, CEO of Take-Two, claims it was just a glitch that was resolved. A few days ago, I did a video pretty much countering Strauss Zelnick's claim that the glitch was resolved. There's still a lot of issues when it comes to GTA 3, Vice City, and San Andreas Definitive Editions that require future title updates, which is something else GTA fans are worried about. Will there be future title updates for the GTA Trilogy Definitive Edition? I certainly hope so, because there's still a lot of problems that all three games still have. Now let's talk about Red Dead Online. So Red Dead Online came out about a month after Red Dead Redemption 2 came out in 2018, around late November 2018. And I've been playing it since the beta, and it's a great online experience, a beautiful open world, and it's had its issues, its ups and downs, but over the past 3 years has built a faithful community. But the problem is Rockstar hasn't done the best of jobs supporting Red Dead Online. The height of Red Dead Online was 2019 with the Frontier Pursuits update, followed by the Moonshiners update. Then in 2020, the last decent update we received was the Naturalist update, and then December 2020 was the Bounty expansion update. It all continued to go downhill from there. In the summer of 2021, we got Blood Money, and then in December 2021, GTA Online received the Contract update, a massive update featuring the return of a protagonist from GTA 5, Franklin, along with Lamar and some other characters as well, including the legendary Dr. Dre and DJ Pooh. However, Red Dead Online got some holiday-themed Call to Arms survival modes. That was pretty much all that Red Dead Online got. Furthermore, whereas GTA Online gets weekly events, Red Dead Online, on the other hand, is only getting monthly events, which sparked the hashtag Save Red Dead Online movement, which has been trending for over 2 weeks now. And it's led a lot of Red Dead Online players to ask Rockstar the question, do they intend to continue updating Red Dead Online, or are they going to sunset it in 2022? Unfortunately, at the recording of this video, Rockstar has still yet to publicly respond to hashtag Save Red Dead Online. Rockstar's silence has not only been concerning for players within Red Dead Online, but also a growing number over in GTA who are sympathetic towards the plight of Red Dead Online players from being neglected by Rockstar, to even gaming websites asking Rockstar for an official public response. But unfortunately, so far there has been no response from Rockstar in typical fashion, which leads us to the next issue that Rockstar has had for the very longest time: lack of communication on socials. Now, other development studios do a much better job on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, interacting with their communities than Rockstar does. They've always had a difficult time properly communicating with the fan bases of GTA, Red Dead, and other properties as well under Rockstar. They will put out news wires for their events for GTA and Red Dead, and whenever there's an update for one of the games, of course, they'll put out a news wire for that. But most of the time, they're not the best at interacting to issues that tend to pop up on a weekly basis, including hashtag Save Red Dead Online. It's a prime example of how terrible Rockstar is at communicating with the fans of their games. So you think that after 2 going on 3 weeks now, with hashtag Save Red Dead Online continuing to trend, that Rockstar by now would have had to sit down internally with managers from the very top at Sam Houser to whoever's in charge of Red Dead Online, and perhaps even some people over at Take-Two, and worked on an official public response when it comes to hashtag Save Red Dead Online, but alas, they still have not. Furthermore, they have yet to put out a new title update for GTA Trilogy Definitive Edition, and there's no communication from Rockstar regarding whether or not we will be getting any future title updates for GTA Trilogy Definitive Edition down the road, or any further information regarding GTA 5 Online Enhanced Expanded Edition, which is still slated to arrive March 2022. You think by now, near the end of January 2022, with about 2 months away, give or take, that Rockstar would officially start announcing and putting out more information, getting the hype train up for the Enhanced Expanded Milked Edition of GTA 5 and Online. But once again, another prime example of terrible communication and lack of social media skills by Rockstar Games. In fact, there's a running joke that if you go to Rockstar support asking for a legitimate question, Rockstar support may not respond, but if you ask about shard cards, then their bots will quickly respond to you, pointing you in the right direction in order to help get you a shard card or gold bars or something else entirely that involves microtransactions for their online games. The lack of communication by Rockstar is also problematic when it comes to potential future projects and IPs. We've had a tease for Elder Scrolls 6 for many years now by Bethesda. We know it's eventually coming. However, no official tease or word from Rockstar regarding their next project, whether it's GTA 6, Bully 2, Red Dead Redemption 3, which I seriously doubt at this point. You think that by now Rockstar would at least put out something to build up a little hype, just a little tease, a little taste of something that they have in the pipeline down the road. Now, eventually, they will tease it, similar to what they did with Red Dead Redemption 2 a few years back. But as of right now, all we can do is speculate about what Rockstar's next project or IP happens to be, whether it's a sequel to GTA 5, Bully, Red Dead Redemption, or something else entirely. We are just left to wait and see until Rockstar makes that official announcement. But for all we know, Rockstar could just be focusing on future content for the GTA Online Milked Edition for PS5, Xbox Series, and PC. And mobile ports. Let's not forget about mobile ports, because Take-Two just recently purchased Zynga for $13 billion, and Strauss Zelnick has also made a point that he wants to bring over popular IPs under Take-Two from Rockstar, 2K, etc., into mobile gaming as well, because mobile gaming is huge. They make way more money every year than the platforms do, or PC gaming. So Zynga is definitely going to start teaming up with the various studios under Take-Two, including Rockstar, for new versions of pre-existing games, or quote-unquote remasters, exclusively for Zynga, or perhaps even mobile ports. Like case in point, there's a very real possibility that we might see a Zynga Rockstar team-up for a mobile port for GTA Online or other Rockstar titles, coming soon to your iPhone or Android. Well, not exactly coming soon, but coming somewhere down the road. So it wouldn't surprise me if we start to see more games that are going to be focused on going across all platforms, and that doesn't just include PlayStation, Xbox, Switch, or PC. It now has to include mobile gaming as well, because of how much money Take-Two has spent purchasing Zynga, and the fact that it's such a huge, lucrative financial market for the gaming industry. That is concerning for the future projects of Rockstar Games and other development studios under Take-Two, because it makes you wonder if they're going to lower the bar on the graphics and the performance and the quality of future games in order to make sure that these future games actually run across the board, not just on the PS5 or the Xbox Series S and X or the Nintendo Switch or PC, but also for iPhones and Androids. Speaking of smartphones, we know that eventually the GTA Trilogy Definitive Edition will be arriving on smartphones sometime in spring 2022, but there's most likely other remasters that are possibly in the work, whether it's being done in-house, which I think would be the better option for Rockstar, especially after how badly the GTA Trilogy Definitive Edition launched. Still has issues, by the way, Strauss Zelnick and Sam Houser. Or will they be more Grove Street Game ports? Now, Grove Street Games is not technically part of Rockstar Games, but they're the ones that were tasked with the remasters for GTA 3, Vice City, and San Andreas. Most of you are aware of this. They're a small mobile studio, and I feel like the project was too big for Grove Street Games, and I don't think they were given as much time as they were originally promised because of what we talked about earlier. The original release date for the Enhanced Expanded Edition of GTA 5 and Online was supposed to be, once again, November 11th, 2021. That got moved to March 2022, so then, magically, the GTA Trilogy Definitive Edition got moved in that original release date November 11th, 2021. So we've established that. So that means that the GTA Trilogy Definitive Edition was probably meant to come out sometime in 2022, but got rushed into release for the holiday season in order to capitalize on as much money as possible. But there is a possibility that other remasters could be in the works, whether it's done in-house by Rockstar Games, which I personally would prefer. We could get a remaster of Bully, we could get a remaster of Red Dead Redemption, GTA 4, GTA Liberty City Stories, Vice City Stories. So those are possibilities of future remasters that Rockstar and Take-Two are going to take advantage of. Nostalgia, member berries, and whether or not they actually turn out to be decent remasters are very similar to the disappointing release of the GTA Trilogy Definitive Edition by Grove Street Games. That also remains to be seen, but I hope that Rockstar has learned some lessons over this disastrous launch and will work forward to make sure that any future remasters are up to much higher quality. I don't want to see the same thing happen to Bully or the original Red Dead Redemption, GTA 4, or GTA Liberty City, Vice City Stories, or any other remasters Rockstar has planned down the road. Now, the question we all have to ask ourselves, and this is something you probably have done so on numerous occasions if you're a Rockstar Games fan, is this still Rockstar Games, or is it Rockstar in name only? Because we've had several key people leave over the years. Leslie Benzies, he was a former president of Rockstar Games. Dan Houser, he was one of the founders, along with his brother Sam. He was also one of the lead writers for a lot of the titles, including a lot of the GTA 3D eras, Bully, Red Dead Redemption 2, GTA 5, GTA 4. Plus, we had somebody else that was important to Rockstar Games, Laszlo. He was also involved in the writing, and he was also involved in the radio stations and the production behind the scenes at Rockstar Games for the GTA franchise. He's gone, and there's probably several others that are no longer at Rockstar Games either. We never got any official word as to why Leslie Benzies, Dan Houser, or Laszlo have left Rockstar Games. When it comes to Laszlo, it's quite possible it's because of his sister and his father having serious health issues. Now, when it comes to Leslie, there is speculation that there was internal issues between him, Sam Houser, and perhaps even Strauss Zelnick, well, the heads of Rockstar and Take-Two, which caused him to depart the company or be forced out. Now, when it comes to Dan Houser, on the other hand, he was one of the founders of Rockstar Games along with his brother Sam, and he was also the lead writer. That's already been established. So the reasons why Dan Houser walked away from Rockstar Games back in 2020 is also a mystery. Some say it might have been health issues, or Dan Houser just wanted to go work on some different projects, or he may have also had some issue with the direction that Rockstar Games have been going, similar to Leslie and many others that are no longer with Rockstar Games. But until Leslie Benzies, Dan Houser, or Laszlo come out and publicly state exactly why they left the company, we'll never have an official answer regarding why each of them departed Rockstar Games. Bear in mind, at slightly different times. And finally, we must talk about the negative influence that Take-Two has had over Rockstar Games ever since they purchased the studio many years ago. Now, for the longest time, Rockstar Games has been allowed to have its own authority and do its own thing, but I believe over the years, Take-Two has kind of weaved its tentacles slowly but surely into Rockstar Games, ceding more influence over the largest development studio in the world. And there are times when a lot of us wonder, is there really a difference between Rockstar Games and Take-Two anymore? And I feel like the answer is sadly no. It might as well be called Take-Two Studios and just remove the name Rockstar completely, but that was a brand that was built up over the past decade or two, thanks to the hard work of Leslie, Dan Houser, Laszlo, and many others that were part of all the awesome games that Rockstar Games put out since the 2000s to present day. So obviously they're not going to take away the name Rockstar Games anytime soon because it still has some value as a brand, even though they continue to hurt that brand with their silence when it comes to their lack of communication skills on social medias, especially most recently with hashtag SaveRedDeadOnline. Who's to blame for the current state of Rockstar going forward? I would say the blame lies a lot with not just the head of Take-Two, Strauss Zelnick, but also with the head of Rockstar Games. Bear in mind, Rockstar Games does have their own CEO, which happens to be one of the founders of Rockstar Games, Sam Houser, the brother of Dan Houser. As of this point, Sam Houser is still the head of Rockstar Games, whether he's president, CEO. The point is he's at the very top of Rockstar Games. And he's not exactly a public figure that you would expect from somebody in charge of one of the largest development studios in the world, which is why a lot of people say that Strauss Zelnick is the head of Rockstar Games and not Sam Houser, because Strauss Zelnick is the one still going out there doing interviews on CNBC and elsewhere. Meanwhile, we never really hear from Sam Houser, even though he's supposed to be the president and CEO of Rockstar Games. You think that he would be the face, that he would be the voice, he would be the one that comes out and talks about current projects revolved around Rockstar Games and future projects, and whenever there's an issue that comes up that needs to be publicly addressed, like for example the disastrous launch of the GTA Trilogy Definitive Edition, you think that he would have been the one that came forward and issued the public apology to the GTA Rockstar fan base. But no, all we got was a letter, a newswire from Rockstar Games via Twitter, Facebook, and their official Rockstar website. It does lead many of us to wonder and speculate as to what exactly it is that Sam Houser does at Rockstar Games. Does he even show up for work? Does he have an office? Is he actually at these meetings when it comes to concerning future updates for GTA Online, Red Dead Online, as well as their future project or projects that they happen to be working on at this point? The reason why I bring this up is because somebody has to take the blame for the current state of Rockstar Games. Yes, you can give some of that, and maybe a lot of it or half of it, to Strauss Zelnick, the head of Take-Two, but why does Sam Houser go blameless when it comes to what's going on with Rockstar when he is still the president and he's still a founder of that company? And for the record, I do not like hearing about any developer or any employee at Rockstar Games being targeted when it comes to various issues that we have with the games, like GTA Online or hashtag Save Red Dead Online. I think it's unprofessional, inappropriate, and it only hurts what we're trying to accomplish as a community when it comes to improving GTA Online, saving Red Dead Online, and interacting with Rockstar Games. So I am completely against targeting anybody that's working at Rockstar, past, present, or future, because they're doing their best. They're going in, trying to earn that paycheck. They're doing what they're told. They're doing the best they can when it comes to updates and content for GTA Online and hopefully Red Dead Online as well as whatever game that Rockstar happens to be working on for a future release down the road. So I do not believe that any of them deserve any of the blame or to be targeted at all. However, Sam Houser is the head of Rockstar Games. Strauss Zelnick is the head of the parent company of Rockstar Games, Take-Two Interactive, the publisher of Rockstar Games. Those two gentlemen should be held accountable by the court of public opinion and by the gaming community as to the current state and future of Rockstar Games. Strauss Zelnick is either oblivious to the fact that the so-called glitch at the launch of the GTA Trilogy Definitive Edition has not resolved the issues of GTA 3, Vice City, or San Andreas Definitive Editions, or he's outright lying. And then you have Sam Houser, who has no public interaction with the Rockstar community or fan base at all. When was the last time he made a public appearance? When was the last time he did an interview? When was the last time he sent out a tweet? I don't even know if he has a Twitter account. He probably doesn't. Even if he's the kind of leader that prefers doing so behind the scenes and doesn't really care for public interaction via the social medias, the times have changed, and that is a big reason why a lot of people are concerned about the future of Rockstar Games, whereas other development studios, big and small, do a much better job of interacting with their fan base via the social medias, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, etc. And maybe one of the big reasons why Rockstar is in the current state it is isn't just because of the negative influence by Take-Two, but because of the leadership itself of Rockstar Games, or the lack thereof, and the lack of public communication from the very head of Rockstar Games, Sam Houser. How would a country feel if their president or their prime minister or chancellor was elected to office and they never gave any public speeches at all? They never came out with a press release, or they never talked. You never heard from the president or the prime minister or the chancellor. They just never said anything, but they were still your president. They were still your prime minister or chancellor or head of your government. How would that make the public feel about their quote-unquote government leader, their executive, whatever you wish to call them, it would make the public very, very concerned about the state of their country going forward because their president, prime minister, chancellor is not even publicly communicating or giving speeches or interviews. The same can be said with Sam Houser, the president, head of Rockstar Games. Now, is Rockstar Games doomed? No, absolutely not. They're still making plenty of money off of shark card sales in GTA Online, and chances are, whenever the enhanced expanded edition of GTA 5 and Online release March 2022, if it's not delayed, we'll probably have some sales and we'll bring more people back to the PS5, Xbox Series versions of GTA Online, and maybe there'll be some improvements to that version. Maybe there'll be dedicated servers. Maybe it'll be a much better experience for GTA Online on PS5 and Xbox Series when that Milk Edition version drops along with GTA 5. And maybe the next game will be Rockstar's best game yet, but unfortunately, a lot of key people have left the company over the past years, including some of the best writers at Rockstar Games, Dan Houser along with Laszlo. While I hope the next game that Rockstar comes out with, whether a future GTA, Bully, Red Dead, or new IP entirely, I hope that they're successful. I hope it does well. I hope that whenever that comes out, it'll feel like a Rockstar game of old. But unfortunately, I feel like the Rockstar games that we know and love no longer exist anymore. But there's always the possibility with more people within the Rockstar fan base, from Red Dead to GTA to Bully, LA Noire, speaking out on the social medias and videos, live streams, Twitter, etc., voicing their concerns regarding the current state and future of Rockstar Games. Perhaps enough of us speaking out might lead towards change down the road. Even if it's change that we don't see immediately, perhaps by throwing the smallest pebble into the pond, it causes massive ripple effects and waves of change. But sadly, at the end of the day, Rockstar Games is a company. It is a corporation, just like its parent company, Take-Two, making billions of dollars each and every year. And sadly, as long as Rockstar and Take-Two continue making money, the sad reality is they may not even care to listen to what we have to say about hashtag Save Red Dead Online or the future of GTA or any other IPs we'd like to see them work on, or the remasters done better than the GTA Trilogy Definitive Edition, because as the old saying goes, money talks. Your thoughts, your views, and opinions regarding the future of Rockstar Games, welcome below in the comments section.